Hello, boys. Jeez, welcome back. Calm down, level up. Every state independent, we are back. Okay, it's been a little while since I recorded one of these, so bear with me. I'm sorry. I usually record these in batches, so I have to refresh myself. But I do remember that there are a few key things going on at this moment that we need to refresh on, and let's check on those right now. First of all, Tuscany has been doing a pretty good job of uniting Italy. They are currently fighting a war against 3 enemies, but now it's 2 enemies because Abruzzo was defeated and annexed. Now they are fighting Savoy and South Tyrol. Savoy being the main enemy, and Savoy being the one that was doing the best before until Tuscany started snowballing really fast. Now South Tyrol isn't really an effective ally to Savoy because they are currently being invaded by Franken, whilst Franken is also fighting Hanover, so Franken's not that much of a threat for now. My theory of what's going to happen is Tuscany's probably going to push in and take over Savoy. And while this is happening, they'll probably end up controlling South Tyrol while Franken controls Tyrol. So I think that Tyrol as a country will probably be split once the peace deal happens. That's just my theory though. In the south of Italy, Campania is the current ruler. Sicily is still independent. Corsica, Sardinia is still fighting. Other than that, we're probably looking at a Tuscany victory at some point here. In France, it's sort of turning into a Three Kingdoms situation. We have Brittany, very strong, very good, probably in first place. Pas-de-Calais, doing also very good. And Bourgogne, very strong as well. They're all finishing off the smaller French states. In Iberia, Guarda and Murcia are doing the best. I'm putting my money on Guarda, though, this time because they did super good last season. And I think that Murcia is getting a little bit behind Guarda at this point. In Germany, obviously, of course, Hanover and Franken are probably the top 2. Pommern is doing pretty good, though. Over in Poland, Poznan doing pretty good. Kalisz, though, probably the strongest one, and we've seen Kalisz doing very good since the beginning. They're at war with Lublin, and it looks like Lublin broke into their borders. Let's actually see what this looks like. Yeah, and it appears that pretty much their entire army has been encircled within Kalisz, but Warsaw was taken. And they do have, and Lublin still does have 1 division able to run around over here. In the UK, probably Cornwall is in first place. They were behind for most of the game. East Midlands and London were looking like they were going to do the best. East Midlands is now finishing up their war with London. But Cornwall, during the midst of the East Midlands versus London war, was able to capitalize on them being held behind with each other, and is now united most of the western part of the country, and is invading now up into Lancashire. When Cornwall and East Midlands have a war, it's going to be very epic. More exciting news down here in the Balkans as well. In the Balkans, Greece, Turkey region. Istanbul's actually doing pretty good, and it will be a formidable opponent to Peloponnese once Peloponnese eventually defeats Macedonia. I'm not sure which direction they're going to go. It would be really cool to see Greece go towards Asia Minor, but we will probably see them go up north as well. Jordan, of course, is annexing most of the Middle East. Isfahan is looking like it's doing the best in Iran. In China, Guangxi, Hunan, Mandalay, all doing very good. Last time we had a state come out of Manchuria that did very good as well. But China is nowhere near being united, and it's going to be a little bit while, too, before we probably see a superpower come out of it. In South America, Santa Cruz doing pretty good, as well as British Guyana. It's really hard to say down here. This one over here in Peru doing pretty good. Panama is doing good. They're invading down into the continent. El Salvador looking strong. And Mendoza, I think leadership over the region of Chile has changed. Mendoza now the ruler of it. They are looking very strong. And in the Americas, I really don't know. Still, New York is doing good. Arizona's doing not that bad. Vancouver Island, surprisingly, very strong. Illinois. Tennessee looks like it's not doing that bad. We'll have to check on this area later, though. There's still not enough development. And of course, in Africa, Cairo appears to be the strongest. Aside from Guinea over here in the west, Guinea is doing very strong. But alright, boys, enough with this. Let's get into the actual video and get some development going. Really quick, I'm going to thank all my current patrons: Andrew, Blog and Fletcher, Bubby, Infinitum Gamer, Starlord, a new $10 patron, as well as Mazmazor, a new $25 patron. Thank you so much, guys. Paxis and Rodney. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate all of your support. Let's get into this video. Alright, boys, I wanted to show this off too. Our very first formed nation, Abyssinia, It was one of the earlier ones the last season too. I think it's because it's fairly easy for this region to unite. But Abyssinia has officially formed. Good to see it. I think if Somalia joins, then we'll see Empire of the Lion. But for now, it's just Abyssinia. I'll let you guys know if I see any others as well. And also, boys, Macedonia has officially been defeated. Peloponnese is now at war with Istanbul. That is exciting. I would have figured they would have gone after somebody weaker than Istanbul. I figured that Istanbul would be pretty strong. I guess they only have 2 divisions, though, and a lot of strength behind it. Peloponnese will be seizing that strength. Montenegro only has 2 as well. Peloponnese really has an opportunity to snowball early in this game. Also in this war, Savoy versus Tuscany, 2/3 of Savoy's army is encircled and about to get killed inside of Tuscany. So rip, Savoy will probably perish here. That's not to say they don't have a big army being trained at this moment, and it could get spawned any moment. Mongolia just annexed another state. That's exciting. I'm kind of rooting for Mongolia because I've seen them do good before. What are they at war with now? Tanatuva. But Tanatuva is being invaded by these guys. So it's a race for Tanatuva. Oh my gosh, boys. Look at this. Kingdom of the Benelux was formed by Pas-de-Calais. That is beautiful. Second formed nation. I just noticed it. It might have been first. It might have been at the exact same time. But Kingdom of the Benelux was just created, boys. That makes me pretty happy. Okay, also Tartu. I don't know if I missed these guys before. How many divisions? Only 2. They are doing extremely well up in northern Russia. Alright, Mercia just annexed Gibraltar. And, oh, southern Indochina. Okay, that's not a formed nation, but these guys are starting to snowball as well down here. We might see something come out of Indochina. Singapore is looking pretty good, actually. And Siam, that'd be cool if Siam reformed Siam. Mandalay, I'm interested to see because it's so big, like territorially, but I think it's only a couple states. Oh, it's actually 4 states. Only 2 divisions, though. And it's winning against another one. Mandalay would be a fun country to root for, I'd say. Whatever you say, though, guys, I am not rooting for Hunan. Hunan killed my boy Guangdong, and I can never forgive him for that. Alright, boys. Guinea just got even bigger. If you guys remember last time, it was invading through the state Ivory Coast, and it was just able to annex all 3 Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Togo. So, all in the Empire. Now it's invading Benin, which is being invaded by others as well. So, it's going to get messy over here, but Guinea is looking very strong in Africa. Also, look at this guy. Cherniv. Very strong. Very big. Let's see. 3 divisions, so, I mean, not the strongest. Only 57,000 manpower, but 9 military factories and 13 civilian. And how many states is this? That is 9 states. We might see a country come out of Russia this time, too. There's a lot of possibility out here. Okay, out of India, Rajasthan. Looking good. For this region, actually. 3 states, but they're all very large. And then how many divisions is this? 2? Pretty good for this region, I think. Oh, boys. Looks like I was wrong. Franken annexed the entirety of South Tyrol and Tyrol. Tuscany was not able to get in on any of that Tyrol action. But Franken now has to turn north as soon as possible because Hanover is coming. I think some of you will be very happy to see that Kansas is doing very good. They've not annexed Nebraska yet, but Oklahoma and Missouri are under their control. Illinois is looking pretty strong as well. They've got all of Iowa, Indiana, and Kentucky under their belt, and they're invading Wisconsin, which also controls Minnesota. So, big Rust Belt Empire emerging. New York is even bigger now. They have Northern Ontario annexed. Who are they at war with? Okay, Nova Scotia with 3 divisions. Okay, boys, we have a rough war now between Bourgogne and the Kingdom of the Benelux. This is what this war looks like. Currently, I think Bourgogne is technically lost a bit of territory, or who controls this state? Who owns this state? Bourgogne. So actually, the Benelux has invaded territory. They have 4 divisions. Empire Bourgogne has 3 divisions. It's going to be pretty even. And actually, Center, no, that's not how you say it, is at war with Brittany now. If Brittany is able to annex this guy, or this guy's able to annex Brittany, and these 2 guys are still duking it out, this guy's going to be able to take them both over. So they need to be very careful about waging a long war while their neighbors are getting stronger around them. Alright, boys, Jordan is looking bigger. They're annexing a lot of the little guys that are around them still, so they're still building up that power to possibly go north even up into Turkey. Caucasus Mountains is completely united now. Well, it's just Georgia, but Grozny is now invading into it. So eventually this will be united. And it looks like Krasnodar has been being held up for a while. 4 divisions. They've got a pretty good-sized country. They just can't wait too long, or else countries around them are going to quickly catch up. Guarda just annexed Leon as well. So they're going to finish off a lot of these little guys, and then we're probably going to see Guarda and Murcia duke it out, possibly even with Midi-Pyrenees being involved, even though it's a French state. These two guys here, in the last season, Iberia was able to unite before any French states came south, and then Iberia actually came north into France and took a lot of stuff. In this case, we're probably going to see the opposite, where France comes south, possibly prevents Iberia from forming. Alright boys, Illinois has 7 divisions. It's turning into quite an empire, and it's now invading Michigan, who has managed to stay independent for this long with only 1 division. Actually, 2 divisions. But Illinois is coming, and I don't think Michigan has much of a future anymore. Alright boys, let's give Australia some attention here. New South Wales, straight through the middle of the country. Queensland in the top, Victoria in the bottom, and Western Australia, Tasmania still independent. We have battles between the 2 islands of New Zealand happening. West Papua is starting to unite Papua New Guinea, and Indonesia is still pretty much just completely split apart. Also, I didn't notice this, Mongolia was able to annex Tanatuva, congratulations. But now it's at war with Bodaibo, way up in the north. That's gonna create some horrible borders. Mongolia, you were doing so good. It's a race between Guarda and Murcia to annex the most stuff before their epic fight. This happened last season between Aragon and Guarda. I'm rooting for Guarda this time. I think they deserve the win for coming this far twice. Now, let's compare the two at this current moment. 5 divisions, 7 military factories, 10 civilian, and 75,000 manpower for Guarda. Not bad. Murcia, on the other hand, only 3 divisions, 48,000 manpower, 5 military, 8 civilian. So not the best. I mean, definitely comparable, but not as strong as Guarda. If it was a war right now, we'd have to put our money in Guarda. But as you can see, Murcia is not going after Andalusia like Guarda is, and that's sort of one of Guarda's last options. Murcia is instead going after Aragon, who is already dying by the hand of Midi-Pyrenees, to snag a little bit of a cheeky 1 or 2 states. And yep, there it goes. Midi-Pyrenees and Murcia split Aragon. Who are they at war with now? So this is what the new borders look like. Pretty nice, actually. Murcia is now at war with Andalusia. So it's racing against Guarda to take the most states from Andalusia as possible. Midi-Pyrenees are now joining in the war against Center. I'm again going to say, I know that's not how you say it, but interesting developments in Iberia. Alright boys, Peloponnese is doing extremely good. They've got Istanbul's divisions encircled, and they are moving in on the capital slowly. They've got 6 divisions, 7 military, and 12 civilian factories. They must have lost quite a bit of manpower in the fighting. And up here in Franken as well, it looks like they've encircled most of the Hanover units, and it looks like Hanover will be capitulating fairly soon. California is at war with Montana as well. Isfahan continues to grow as well in Iran. 3 to 5 divisions. What is that? 4 divisions. Only 6,000 manpower, so a fairly weak country overall, but in the region, pretty strong. In North Africa, it is a race between Cairo and Alexandria, which is cool because these states are right next to each other, their capitals are right next to each other, but they're both expanding west. Cairo has the ability to expand south, but Alexandria has been doing very good. They've been annexing tons of these states along the coast with only 2 divisions, and I think Cairo's kind of in the same position. They have 2 divisions as well, but they've been annexing the more desert states, and they've annexed the east of Egypt. So we have a bit of a Cold War, a bit of a North African Cold War going on between Alexandria and Cairo. And here's the other fun bit. Peloponnese just officially annexed good ol' Istanbul, and now they are at war with Montenegro, whose capital is right on their border. Also, boys, I realized that I made a mistake earlier. Empire of the Lion would be the fascist version of Abyssinia, I believe, and right now they are not aligned. So that's why it's not Empire of the Lion. It's really hard to tell who's going to win here between the Kingdom of the Benelux, whose king, by the way, is Alexander Smith, and Bourgogne, because Bourgogne was able to get nice and north. They've taken Brussels and Antwerp, stopped right before Amsterdam, but their entire army was encircled, and it appears that the Kingdom of the Benelux has put out a lot more divisions, and now they are even pushing south into Dijon, Bourgogne's capital. Boys, the large war between Franken and Hanover is now over. The region is united. This country could probably claim to be the legitimate Germany at this point. It's now invading Alsace, so it's going to start going for the smaller guys around it. Probably Venice at some point. Or actually, this is Trieste, so it'd probably go for Trieste, Moselland, Alsace. Then it'd probably eventually Pommern and Sudetenland, Upper Austria. It's going to start snowballing into a Central European powerhouse. Also, I did not realize Guarda and Murcia have started their war. This is a big war. 9 divisions on Guarda's side, 6 divisions on Murcia's side, and a few of those are encircled. So it's probably not going to be a very fair war, but this is what it ended up being. And also looks like Midi-Pyrenees is fighting Brittany, probably losing. If Midi-Pyrenees can hold off Brittany for long enough that Guarda can annex Murcia, then Guarda will stab Midi-Pyrenees in the back, and we'll probably see a united Iberia. Back in China, Jiangsu, looking really good. Okay, we're getting more developments as we're here. Fujian, that's how I'm going to say it, is also looking good. Guangxi, Hunan look pretty much the same. They seem to be locked into some wars they can't get out of. Hubei, looking pretty good. Sorry if these are pronounced so horribly. Sichuan is looking pretty good, and Liaoning, sort of in the north, actually looking very strong. It appears to have more states than most of these Chinese guys. Both Cairo and Alexandria continue to push west. Cairo is now invading Algerian desert, and Alexandria is invading Gabes. So Tripoli would probably be next after that. Rip my boy Kastamonu, annexed by Ankara, doing pretty good in Asia Minor over here. When Peloponnese want to start invading this direction, they're going to have some pretty good resistance, both Afyon and Ankara. Oh, that was a pretty satisfying peace agreement just to witness there. Sistan and Isfahan both just annexed some stuff, and they appear to be living peacefully with one another. Alright boys, thank you very much for watching this episode. If you liked this, make sure to hit like, favorite, and subscribe if you guys are new. Please consider joining the Patreon. I'd really appreciate your support, and consider hitting the join button. We're getting people together so that we can do some private live streams for you guys. It's basically just like subscribing on Twitch, just $4.99 per month, and you get some special access stuff on the channel. And I will see you guys very soon. Peace.